All right, calling to order City Council regular meeting of November 17th at 7:03 p.m. Can you please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? Ready, begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag. And can you please remain standing for a moment of silence for first responders and military members? Okay, thank you. Can we get a roll call, please?
Maria.
Roll call. Councilmember Baptista.
Present.
Councilmember Aguilar.
Present.
Councilmember Kane.
Present.
Mayor Pro Tem Garcia.
Present.
For the record, Mayor Samra is not attended, so his absence is excused.
Thank you. In regards to closed session announcements, Council has nothing to report. Council, any changes to the agenda? Okay, seems like there's none. Now we're going to move to announcements and reports. Supervisor Rodrigo Espinosa, are you on the line? It appears that he's not. We'll move to city staff announcements and reports. Any staff member? Go ahead.
Yes, good evening, Council, members of the public. Anthony Chavarria, Public Works. I do have a PowerPoint presentation, but I'll wait till the next council meeting because we're having some issues with the audio and video. But I did want to inform council and the public that due to the slip back to the purple tier, that we have closed the restrooms at our park facilities. We also have taken down the rims at the basketball court areas at Max Foster and Frederick Warden Park here pretty soon, I think tomorrow as well. And we'll be closing off the parking lot to block access to discourage the gatherings at the parks. But that's all I got.
Thank you so much. Council, any questions? And then just for public announcement information, we are having some technical difficulties with our PowerPoint presentations at this time, and we're working hard to resolve those issues. And then let's move on. It seems like there's no questions. Any other staff member reporting tonight? Police chief.
You should have something.
Okay. We'll have the police chief here. Go ahead. Go first. Yeah. Thank you. Sorry, Jackie.
Okay, can you hear me okay? Okay. Hey, good evening, Council, Mayor, and members of the public. Chief Chris Soria. I just want to let everybody know that in January 21st and 22nd, we're going to be holding our very first Citizen Academy. The flyers up on our Facebook, on the internet. We're going to be sending them out with the utility bill. We're really excited about having it. It's going to kind of show everyone the things, some of the things that we do in law enforcement, and actually some real hands-on training that we will be showing whoever signs up for this academy. Due to the fact of what's going on right now with COVID, we are going to limit it to 8. So the first 8 people that actually sign up will be able to go through this. There will be a small process that you have to go through, a screening, obviously, because you will be subjected to some stuff that you know, in the department that we can't just obviously just allow anyone inside. But again, I really encourage anyone who's really interested in seeing what we do to sign up and do this. And you can get a hold of Sergeant Ray Fong at the police department at 394-7916, and you can sign up there. But again, it's January 21st and 22nd And it's going to be at night from 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. So everybody, or those who want to attend, it's make it a little bit easier. Also, I just wanted to hit on one thing. This is something that's been going on. I received several calls this weekend regarding the fireworks. And I know there's probably some citizens that are going to be talking tonight. The thing of it is I think this has been going on for quite some time. And it's not like it's anything. I think we're past the educational process because it's obvious that these fireworks that they do not sell in California. Most of the people that buy these things either buy them in Texas, Nevada, or Arizona. I don't even know if Arizona actually sells them or not. But nonetheless, we're going to start enforcing this stringently. We have to, because I guess this weekend when I got a call, I can literally hear it through the phone, that the gentleman who called me, and it's getting out of hand. So we're going to start, I'm not going to tell you what we're going to actually do, but we're going to be out there. We're going to be enforcing it. And just so people are aware, because I want to make them aware that we do not cite for the municipal code, and the reason being is because it's actually a penal code violation, the state violation, and most people that I've had that's been cited have gotten at least a year's probation and about a $750 to $1,000 fine. This is very this is something that we take seriously because of the fact that, I mean, the fires that it creates. And just also just to the people, how it annoys some of the people, where it gets to the point where they can't sleep, they're going all night, and I'm just I know the people are kind of vented to me this weekend. They're fed up with it, and I think we got to do something about it. The police department, and we are. So I'm just putting this out there to let people know that we are going to be out there. We are going to be enforcing it. I know New Year's is coming up, so we will be out there dealing with these individuals who violate the law in this manner. So that's all I have at this time. Anybody have any questions? I'll be feel free to.
Council, any questions?
Yes, I got a question for Chief. Is this something that the police officers have to catch them doing the fireworks, catch people in the action of doing it, or something that somebody could record it and send it in?
If we can get a positive ID on somebody actually recording it, the only thing that we would have to do is to make sure that it's an illegal firework. We could possibly end up doing that, but it's going to be a little bit more harder than catching them actually in the act and getting the evidence.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Good.
Any other questions from council or anybody else on the line? Chief, I just wanted to ask you if you have any updates or information or share regarding your work with obviously there's a lot of concerns regarding the ongoing shooting. Just want to talk a little bit about that for people listening in.
Well, obviously was it 2 weekends ago now? I can't remember. I think it was not this weekend, but the last. We actually had 2 shootings back to back. These were not, from what we see, gang-related. They were not drive-bys or anything of that sort. Nonetheless, the shooting is a shooting. It doesn't make a difference. However, we are pretty much close on the one, the individual at the motel, of pretty much IDing who that person is. I can't really get into any further than that. As for the other one, the homeless gentleman, we're still trying to figure out why that even happened. That was something such an anomaly, and we're still trying to figure it out. He doesn't know why. Just met an individual and it happened. So we're still trying to see what the motive was behind that one as well. So we're kind of in the dark on that one as well right now on that. But hopefully here shortly we'll be making an arrest on the one at the motel. But we're still going to be out there. We're still going to be doing the things that we have been doing, having extra patrols, not only because of the fireworks, but also because of things like this. We want to make sure that our citizens that feel safe. And the other thing is if anybody, and I continue to say it, and I will always say it, if you see anything out there that is in any way, shape, or form suspicious, call it in, and we will check it out. If something happens to where you don't believe that we did, please give me a call. I will find out why we didn't or we did, but I'll get back with you as to what we did on that. So your information is very important to us. So please call in anytime you guys see anything that's out there that we do not see.
Thank you, Chief. Appreciate it. I know you guys are working very hard and keeping us the city safe, and we all appreciate that. And on behalf of the council as a whole, we see the hard work you guys do on a day-to-day basis. So we appreciate everything. It's been very important that we keep our citizens safe and also informed of what's going on. So I really appreciate it. I really praise you for doing the Citizen Academy. I think that'll be great. And hopefully in the future you'll have more if this one's successful. So I appreciate it. Let's move on. Jackie, I know you're on the line and you have a report.
Yes, thank you, everyone. Hope everyone's having a great evening. I just have a couple of little things. Just wanted to let you know the department is working for our resubmittal of Prop 68. It's due December the 14th, and we will be bringing an updated resolution to you on the first meeting in December. Also, I wanted to make sure that the community knows that the quarter trees is going up. We've had a great number of sales already. We're really excited about this year. The Lions Club is doing an amazing job. And if you want your tree, be sure that you contact the department or you contact the Lions Club and we'll get you one. The other event that hopefully we're still going to be able to do is our lighted Christmas parade. As you know, we have tried to make it COVID-friendly by going through a neighborhood. It's almost 4 miles long, and people can just sit either from their living room if they can see the street, or they can sit in their driveway in small family groups to enjoy the parade. We are still looking for parade entries, so if there are folks out there interested in being a part of the parade, please give our department a call, or you can go to the website and you actually can register online. You don't even have to come in. And then the last item that I have is I had given to Monica, so hopefully all of you guys have these in your hand, a list of all of the approved activities from the Rec Commission for 2020-2021. And I thought this would be good. This would give the council a chance to look over all the activities, and if they have any suggestions or recommendations for any of these events, they can get those to us, and we can do our best to implement any suggestions that y'all may have. And with that, that's all I have.
Thank you, Jackie. Appreciate it. Council, any questions for Jackie? Okay, I hear none. Jackie, I have a couple questions. What's the total number of trees for the quarter trees?
We can have as many as 100. Last year we had almost 40, I believe, and we have been averaging about 50. But our goal this year is 70 between the Lions Club and the department helping to try to get trees. So it will really look, very beautiful, full, and festive.
Awesome. Thank you. And then if people want to see the route for the Christmas parade, I know it's on social media and all of that, but is it also on the website?
Correct. It is. If they will, when they go to the lighted Christmas parade, at the bottom it says, register for the parade here. If you just click on that, you don't have to register, but it's got like the route and all the details of the parade when you click that button.
Awesome, thank you. And then in regards to the grant, the Prop 68, is it going to be the same submittal that we're doing from last time, or are we changing it up a little bit to see if we better qualify? Yeah. Okay.
No, well,
Perfect.
we actually met with the state, and she advised us there was nothing wrong with our application. She said it was a
Okay.
great project. It was well written, all these good things. However, the need was, there were just people in that first round with a greater need than we had. So we're hoping that all of the greater needs have been taken care of, and we will be to the front of the line.
Perfect. Awesome. I really hope we do get it this time. And then in regards to any, obviously it's up to COVID or how the situation with COVID is, but we're planning to do all these activities. We see it here, and we did get the sheet. Do you have a deadline by when do you need any feedback in regards to council and, you know?
I would just, we do try to promote our activities starting about 8 weeks in advance. So, if there's things that you have ideas for now, either email me or call me. Let's talk about it because, we'd love to have input.
All right, awesome. Thank you so much, Jackie.
You're welcome.
All right, let's move on. Any other staff members have announcements or reports? I see nobody here in person. Anybody on the line? Any staff members? Okay, here none. Let's move on to city manager announcements and reports.
Yes, Councilmember Aguilar, I do have a few items to report. Number one, Anthony kind of touched on it a little bit, and that's that unfortunately we went back in our county to purple category, and so he talked about what has been done by the city as it relates to his department. However, as it relates to the rest of the city, we continue to work in conjunction with our other neighboring cities in our county to continue to educate the public. So in a separate mailing, we're sending folks, reminders, letting people know, also addressing, because we get a lot of text messages, phone calls, or emails where businesses are trying to figure out, okay, what am I allowed to do, what I'm not allowed to do. Everything from, if they have an outside area and it's open, but then they use like vinyl or other things to enclose it, where would that fit in? So we educate them on that. In addition to that, we want to just continue to, do as much as we can on social media so that people have it front and center. So that's what's going on the COVID side. As it relates to the business development side, to help the different businesses as it relates to COVID, we continue to work with other partners, other chambers, and also specifically with UC, Merced Small Business Development Center, so that they can get, the resources and small business development opportunities, because it's a hard, they're in hard times, of course. So we basically, with the purple phase, there's no more indoor dining. It used to be 25%, and now it's not allowed. So we'll continue to help them on that. I do have a couple more items. One is that we're working with Green Zone LLC. As you might recall, this is an investment group that wants to build a cannabis business park over there off of Bird Street. And so they're basically asking for us to look at and consider the possibility of changing our water well ordinance to that way they don't use potable water from the city. And so we're working with legal on that and see what we come up with to then bring to you. And then my last item is we were successful at getting an investment group to come in and buy the rest of those 10 acres that the Yagis owned over there off of Habit and Campbell. And so they're going to be coming up with a specific plan over there. But what's exciting is, we met with them and kind of outlined what the community really would like. And, of course, one of those things was, the opportunity to bring a Chick-fil-A. So apparently they have some connections with Chick-fil-A, and then we're hoping to get Foster Farms to, I know they can't endorse anybody or a franchisee, but at least, say, hey, yeah, we would love to have one in the area, if not specifically in Livingston. So we're working with them. So that's all I have right now, but if you have any questions, feel free to ask.
Thank you, Jose. Council, any questions? No questions? move on to city council members, announcements and reports. Councilmember Bautista. Councilmember Bautista, are you there? All right, Councilmember King.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I have
I can
nothing
hear
to
you now.
say.
Okay.
Councilmember Bautista, go ahead.
I just want to thank everyone that came out to the November 11th dedication of the welcoming sign. That was a lot of hard work and dedication from the Livingston Lions Club and participation from the Livingston VFW. It was a really nice ceremony. I'd like to see it live stream again, so if I believe it was Mr. Valadez that had that, if he can repost that, because I'd like to see, from the other side, that would be great. But there are a lot of people that need to be thanked for that day, and again, I think the staff that was out there present, council members that also attended, Public Works, our police department that helped set up the parade. Again, I just want to, thinking forward to next year, I'd really like I'd like to see the whole community come out. It was successful in a way, but when I look out to the main street, I know everyone has their concerns about the keeping distance and space, but again, just being out there and supportive of our veterans, I would really, really encourage everyone to get on board with that and help Livingston support our veterans in ways that we should. So again, thank you all the residents that came out and supported the dedication and the parade. And we won't be meeting, the veterans won't be meeting until after January, so we're taking our little break. We have a dinner coming up and is open to the public for December, the second Saturday of December. It is our Christmas dinner. We are still planning on that. So again, inviting the community to come out and enjoy a fabulous dinner put on by your VFW auxiliary. Other than that, I don't believe I have anything else, but again, thank you for all the hard work that everyone has contributed throughout this whole year, and we keep working forward and providing a lot of good things for our city. So thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Bautista. Councilmember King, you have nothing to report, correct?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem, thank you. Mayor Pro Tem Garcia?
Yes, first of all, I'd just like to thank Maria and everybody, Council Member Bautista, with everybody that helped out with the Veteran ceremony. I wasn't able to be there due to department dive training. However, driving by, it looks very good, and I appreciate all the work that everyone put out there. And on November the 10th, I wish, I know it's a few days past, but the Marine Corps birthday turned in 45 years. So all the former Devil Dogs out there, happy birthday, late birthday, and for all the veterans also. I'd just like to say thank you guys. And that's all I have to report.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem Garcia. In regards to me, I appreciate all the hard work going to that sign and all the dedications on the Lions Club. I know the city and staff and our citizens appreciate all the hard work, and it looks very, very nice out there. So thank you so much. Now let's move on to our citizen comments. The section of the agenda allows members of the public to address the City Council on any items not otherwise on the agenda. Members of the public, when recognized, the mayor or council member should come forward to the lectern and identify themselves. Comments are normally limited to 3 minutes. For items which are on the agenda this evening, members of the public will be provided an opportunity to address the City Council as each item is brought up for discussion. We have several members here from the public. Do you guys have any comments? We'll go here for people in person.
Hello, this is Dio Castillo. Can you hear?
Yeah, you're good.
I just wanted to bring up a more. I think it's going to come formally on the next council meeting, but we have been discussing for a couple of years now about maybe bringing some VA housing to the city, and we currently have the Mason building next to the VFW under contract. And I met with Randy from planning, the city manager, and they were excited of a possible project of doing some type of VA housing or repurposing that building for VA housing. So I just wanted to get a little feedback from you guys to see if that's something you guys would want to, or a project that you guys or the council might be interested in us pursuing, so we can put it maybe on the next council meeting.
That's great. In regards to getting some feedback real quick, I think it's a great project. Any housing development, and especially for veterans, it's much needed. So I appreciate that. I don't know if any of the other council members have any feedback real quick.
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Mr. Castillo, I really, really appreciate all the work that you're putting in, all the research that you're putting towards this effort, and actually just moving right in on the Mason building. I believe that would be a ideal spot to get us started. I haven't, I know you're still doing the groundwork for that, and again, just reaching out to our veterans, moving forward, seeing, and this is a small step, but it's a great big step, and I'm all in, and I really appreciate the work that you are putting in on behalf of veterans. It's something that's much needed. It's something that's not in our area. And again, if I can do anything that will, and I will be, I would like to be a resource to even help you get this project moving. So again, I am all in for that. So thank you very much.
Okay, we have.
So just real quick, the city attorney, the item is not on the agenda, so unfortunately there can't be a lot of discussion about it. But I know that this could definitely be something that could be brought back for council discussion, agendized at a future council meeting.
Thank you, Mr. Attorney. Yeah, definitely you got a little bit of feedback there, so we'll definitely have a greater discussion in the near future, and it sounds all positive. Okay, thank you. Appreciate it. Anybody else public comment? Okay, nobody currently presently has any public comment. How about on the phone? Anybody on the phone, on the line from the public?
Yes, Jason Ross, 1629 First Court.
Go ahead.
Yes, I'd just like to touch on a little bit about fireworks and all the crime that's been happening here. Fireworks are very disturbing. They can cause a lot of problems. I had neighbors waking up, talking to me about them, what's going on. I don't know, I'm not on the council. What I do need to think needs to happen is we need to beef up our police department. I know the number of patrols that we have in the evening, and I believe that it needs to be a little stronger. I know the budget's done, but the city needs to do something to help the police department out. There was talk a few meetings ago about them working overtime, things of that effect. We need to do something to help them, because they are out there and they're busting their behind, trying reduce crime. But they need some help. And they need some money from the city to help them. And that's all I've got. Thank you.
Thank you, Jason. Appreciate your comment. I think the police chief touched a little bit on that earlier during his report, and I know that they'll be definitely working towards that and addressing those issues and those concerns you have. Anybody else from the public on the line? No public comment. No further public comment from the phone line. We'll move ahead to our consent agenda. Items on the consent calendar are considered routine or non-controversial and will be enacted by one vote unless separate action is requested by the city manager or city council member. There will be no separate discussion of the items unless members of the city council or city manager request that specific items be removed. All right, council, do we have a motion for the consent agenda?
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
A motion by Councilmember Bautista. Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
It sounded like a second by Mayor Pro Tem Garcia. You get roll call, please.
Roll call. Councilmember Baptista?
Yes.
Councilmember Aguilar?
Yes.
Councilmember King?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Garcia?
Yes.
Motion approved by a vote of 4-0.
Thank you. Now we'll move forward to a discussion and potential action items. We'll move on to item number 8, which is the resolution authorizing the city manager or designate to execute a contract amendment with Hansford Economic Consulting for the utility rate study development as approved by the city attorney. Who's going to, Mr. Ramirez, will be taking this item?
Yeah, I'll take on the item. So what you have before you, council, is, as you know, Catherine Hansford is the consultant that's been helping us all the way through as it relates to her utility rate study. And it only makes sense that we contract with her again by amending her contract. And the work that she's going to basically perform is just updating the information and then, helping us start the 218 process again. And then we'll basically continue to educate the public. We don't anticipate to only go halfways or let certain information go. We're basically going to start all over, except that it's not going to cost us the same amount like if we were starting over, because she's just making some modifications and updating some of the fee schedules and other information. So again, this is what staff is recommending so that we can get going on this, because as you all know, what we currently have in our reserves is pretty much dwindling, and we need to execute this because it's going to take several months. So with that, staff recommends that we contract with Catherine Hansford.
Thank you, Jose. Appreciate it. Council, you have any questions for this item for Jose? Before I open it up to the public? Here, no questions. I'm going to open it up to the public. Any questions? Any questions from the public here presently? Jose. How about any questions from the public on the phone? Okay, I hear none, so closing it and bringing it back to council for discussion. Anybody have any questions or want to make a comment or discuss this item?
Yeah, I have a quick question.
Okay.
I know it's important for us to do a study, but what do with COVID, people losing jobs? Is there any way we could wait a few more months? Because it seems like this is a wrong time for us to do a study and raise the rates, because so many people behind on their bills.
So staff will certainly go in the direction that the council wants. However, staff recommends that we start only because this is still, when you guys actually take action on this, will be several months down the road. So, and then like you've done in the past, you can always continue the item if you still think that the public needs to have a little more time to regain themselves in one way or another economically. But the more months that you delay the actual process, it only makes the situation that more dire for the city, because we're coming to a point where we're not even going to be able to, execute the funding that we've asked the state for our to address some of our other wells, and that's only one area, but we still have the solid waste side, and then we have, of course, the wastewater side. So pretty critical at this point. So just to round it out, you're not implementing anything in terms of new fees. The new fees, if council wants to implement them January 1st of next year, that's a possibility. If you want to do, start them in June of this year, of this next year, we just have to kind of work backwards, and when we have everything set, and then, initiate the 218 process, and that Sanchez can certainly chime in on this, and because we have to do it by ordinance, it takes a little longer, even further, because it's 30 days afterwards. So that's why we're trying to at least get her going, in December, January.
And if I may, this is the city attorney, just real quick, just to echo what the city manager has stated. The actual contract itself does state that there's a kind of a projecting the implementation of new proposed rates in spring of 2021. But the consultant would build a model and would talk about the most likely would bring the implications of waiting longer, doing it sooner, because all that does have effect on the fund balance. Now, entering into this agreement now, all it's doing is it's starting that work in order to come back and bring more information for the council without the consultant coming in and doing the actual projections. There's no information to share with the council as far as what are the impacts, what happens if you waited, 6 months, what happens if you waited 8 months, what happens if you didn't do it at all. That's what kind of getting the consultant on board would do as well. Again, the contract right now does not implement new rates. It does not state that the new rates are going to be implemented in January or in June. It's just to get the consultant working, as the city manager stated, to bring back more information for the council so the council can make an informed decision.
Yeah, but one of the things that we are looking at doing, Councilmember Ken, given what you just stated, is that, and I did this the first go around when I first arrived with the city, and that was looking at 3 different options, rather than just going what we really, really need, and then the council gets to decide with the community on, whether we go with the first tier, the second tier, and the third tier. And that's all based on, okay, if we go with option 1, this, doesn't get us, it only gives us a small little window, and then, this will happen. And then tier 2, we can do these improvements, but not these. And then tier 3, we can do everything, and everything is included, and we're going to be in top shape. So we can talk about all of that. So that's part of what we're going to incorporate.
Thank you, Jose. I appreciate the response there. Any other questions from council? Or further discussion? Go ahead.
Is that for me or?
Yes, go ahead, Mayor Pro Tem.
All right, my question is, how much monies are we looking at? Like, if I know you're saying it'll be cheaper now to continue the contract, and what's the price difference if we don't? Like, if something happens down the road?
If I may, it's Vanessa Portillo, the finance director.
Go ahead. Yes, we can hear you.
Wonderful. The initial study for Hanford, we had a contract with the consultant, and it was an initial contract of $55,000. Right now, with the budget amendment to continue the study and to update these numbers, we are looking at an estimate of $22,000 as far as the budget amendment. If we were to stop everything and call it quits with this consultant, if we were to start it all over again, we would be looking at another $55,000 to $60,000.
Thank you so much for that information. Mayor Pro Tem Garcia, further, go ahead.
No, just like yeah, thank you for that information. However, when did the contract that we are currently in, or when does that expire, or has it expired? What's the deal with that? And I know you said the city manager stated for basically a rush on this item, sooner than later. However, if I'm not mistaken, I think our water rates were not gonna, or nothing was gonna go into effect, or like any prices go up for like the first year. Am I correct on that?
So do you want to talk about that on this, or do you want me to?
Sure. I was just going to say, Councilmember Garcia, that the initial study had projections of the water rates to be increased as of May 1st of 2020. However, we had the pandemic come on our face, and we went a different direction, and we put a halt on doing any kind of increases to our residents. And now we are in this time frame that we're going into 5-6 months of not collecting what we had projected to collect in the initial study.
Yeah. The other, and then also we've been working with our residents, and we haven't shut anybody off, and so we've actually have had a good number. I don't know what the number is right now. Vanessa might know it, but probably about 130 people, 150 people maybe, that are basically, several months behind. And so that's money that possibly we won't be able to collect if we continue. And then it basically puts the rest of the ratepayers in a predicament. So all of these things are, at play. So, you guys are the policymakers, so you guys can give us direction. But this is what staff is recommending.
Okay, this is Mayor Pro Tem again. With all due respect, I don't think either of you answered my question. My question was, if I'm not mistaken, the first year of the study was not to raise the water rates until I believe it was like the second year. Am I correct? Or?
No, Mayor Pro Tem. You're probably referring to the solid waste. The solid waste wasn't going to take into effect until January 1st of 2020. Okay, and so, but then followed by that was going to be the water and sewer, and because of the different dynamics that Vanessa talked about, and council postponed, and we were looking at starting it, but then given the pandemic and some other items, it basically lapsed. So meaning that we got to start the process over, not completely, but pretty much, from the beginning.
So just pretty much we were going to start collecting or changing the fees back in May of this year, correct?
That's right.
That was going to be the first increase in May of this past year? Yeah, of this year, back in May, so like 6 months ago.
That's correct.
Yeah, we were shooting for January, but then we went to May and it didn't work out in May, and then now we've got to start all over again. But for the year 2019, the solid waste, there wasn't going to be any increase.
That's correct. Mayor Pro Tem Garcia, any further questions?
No, I'm good to go. Thank you.
And then just real quick, so the study was conducted back in 2019, is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay.
I believe the consultant brought in the results of the study back in December of 2019, and that's when we received the green light from council to proceed with the Prop 218 process.
Thank you. Any further questions from council or discussion?
Yes.
Go ahead.
So while we've missed all those 2019 projections into 2020, and hearing from Mr. Ramirez of how it's gravely affected our residents and how much that is going to have an impact on our city. So who's paying that? So just let our public know where that money is coming from, because we're not getting the money that was projected by the increase. And at the rate that we are trying to move this forward, it doesn't feel as if we are going to be collecting them anytime soon, because we're still trying to get those changes and amendments. That's what we're discussing now. But we're already behind. We're behind, and then our residents are behind. So where is this money going to come? Because in the end, someone's paying for it. And can we just let our public know who's paying for that? Where's that money coming from?
Absolutely. This is Vanessa Portillo, Finance Director. At any given point, when expenses exceed the revenues that we are collecting from the user fees, it will tap into the reserves of the water fund. Right now, we have some reserves in the fund. However, those reserves have been allocated for projects that we need to complete in our water enterprise. So that means that we are chipping away or eating up the funds that we have in reserves for capital projects. And at some point, part of the study is to ensure that it will give us a projection or a base on how we're going to be able to, one, provide the services that our residents need, and also provide the capital improvement projects that our infrastructure needs to be done.
Yeah, and those infrastructure needs, Council, those are basically, they have to get done. As you might recall, once the state implemented, the MCL for TCP, and of course we already had other constituents that we have to address. They gave us basically a 3-year window to address these things, and the state can certainly fine us. We can not, they also loan us money at a very low interest rate, and if we're not complying with a 1.25 coverage ratio in our reserves, it jeopardizes us being able to access other money, and then ultimately meeting their target dates, and then addressing the infrastructure needs that the community currently has.
So ultimately, what I'm hearing is that it's being paid by our own public because it's going to be affecting our water quality by us taking money from our reserves and not being able to complete these major projects that ultimately affect the water quality of our city.
Yeah, Councilman Regular, basically the public will end up paying more because unless we get a grant, which is difficult to come by and for these kind of circumstances, but if we could access a big grant, then that would be great. But basically what will end up happening is that the percentage of increase that needs to take place will be higher than what was presented the first go around.
Thank you. In regards to me, I appreciate everybody, asking questions and staff for answering those questions. For me, this specifically, I know that the information is from 2019, and I know it needs to be looked at again and recalculated in regards to if there's going to be any increases. Like it was mentioned, this item is not to increase, utility rates at all. It's more to be able to provide us with information to make that informed decision in the future. So I'm for it to update and recalculate and have options on the table for the new council to consider in the future. So I think it's important, and then like it was mentioned earlier, that we wait around and we have to restart the whole process. It's going to cost us more. I know there was already obviously money paid towards this project or this item, and a lot of work done with the utility stakeholder committee and everybody from the public that participated in that, the time and effort. So it would be a disservice to not continue with it, at least to have it bring it up and talk about again and recalculate it so we could have a discussion, and really consider this item. But I'm for it to approve this item. So if we have anybody making a motion for this item.
Sounds like you already did, but I'll make a motion.
Thank you, Councilman Batista. Motion by Councilman Batista. And do we have a second? I'll second the motion. Yeah, I'll second the motion. Roll call, please.
Roll call. Councilmember Baptista?
Yes.
Councilmember Aguilar?
Yes.
Councilmember King?
No.
Mayor Pro Tem Garcia?
Yes.
Motion approved by a vote of 3-1.
Thank you. We'll move on to item number 9. This is a resolution approving an amendment to an agreement with West Coast Consultants for Building Department Support Services to extend the agreement for an additional 3 years and authorizing the city manager to execute the amendment. Who has this
yes,
item?
Councilmember Aguilar.
Go
So
ahead.
this item, WC3 has been providing services with the city for many, many years. They do a great job. They've actually helped us quite a bit with, technology-wise, and it really shined now that we had the when the pandemic hit, because all the applications are done through a program called E360. So folks can basically upload all of their plans and everything. And we haven't had any issues, any problems with them. And I know we need to, make that department a little more robust, but given the limited funds that we have, we had to make some adjustments there. But we're doing the best we can, but they themselves as a firm are doing a great job from staff's eyes. So this is just an amendment to a previous amendment.
Thank you. Any questions to Jose before I open up to the public from the council?
Yes, I got a few regarding it. I have a question for Jose. I know when we adopted the physical budget, council decided to have these 3 positions to part-time. Is there any way we could bring those positions back? Just because businesses are complaining because they can't get the permits on time because due to staffing, only working 3 days a week. Any way we could bring back 2 extra days or extra 2 more days?
Council, if that's the direction of the council, we're more than happy to bring that. That will basically take a budgetary amendment, and then the reserves will be used to implement that. So whatever the end result will be less, but that's certainly something that the council can take on, if that's what you want.
Any other questions to city manager regarding this item? Okay, I'm going to open it up to the public. Any questions from the public regarding this item? Present, any questions, guys? Okay, how about any public questions from people on the line? Any questions? Okay, I hear none, so I'll close it and then bring it back to council for further discussion. Anybody else have any questions or anything else regarding this item? Jose, I have a quick question just to clarify. So basically, it's just extending the contract for 3 years, correct?
Yeah, that's correct. It's just amending the contract for another 3 years to continue to use all the services that they currently provide and have been providing.
So it's pretty straightforward then, correct? It's just regarding that. That's all.
Yeah, but whatever the adjustments were made on the budget, that's how they operate. So they make the modifications to meet our needs.
And this is the city attorney, just for additional input. On the agenda itself in the packet, there is the existing agreement. There is a scope of work and
prices as far as what their costs are. It's kind of you pay as much as you use depending on the services you use. So I think that the manager, his comments about later the decision could be to scale up or scale down, that would require a budget amendment. But the actual agreement itself covers kind of basically just providing the menu of services. The amendment itself that's provided under the agreement, under the agenda packet, the amendment's only an amendment for time. There's no increase in their compensation. It's just going to October 6, 2023.
Thank you for clarifying that. It's basically a time extension. Correct. Thank you. Okay. Any motions for this this item? Okay, I'll make the motion approving an amendment to an agreement with West Coast Consultants for Building Department Support Services to extend the agreement for an additional 3 years and authorizing the city manager to execute the amendment. Do I have a second?
Yes, there's a second.
We have a motion by Councilmember Aguilar and a second by Councilmember Kane. Is that correct?
Yes.
We get a roll call. Could we get a roll call, please?
Roll call, Councilmember Baptista,
Yes.
Councilmember Aguilar,
Yes.
Councilmember Kane,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Garcia.
Yes.
Motion approved by a vote of 4-0.
Okay, we'll move on to item number 10. The City Council sets the bid for audio and visual upgrades, replacement in the City Council chambers and authorize the City Manager to sign the proposal agreement on behalf of the City of Livingston. Jose, you have this item?
Yeah. Well, Vanessa and I can tag team if she wants to jump in. So basically, one of the great things that has happened since the first time that we talked about possibly upgrading the audio and visual in the City Council chambers is that there's actually some CARES funding that came out, and so that's all grant money, and we have a time frame that we have to expend this money and implement it, and this particular project actually falls under the auspices of that. So we don't have to use any city funding that we currently have. So again, this is 100% grant, and so some of the aspects of this is that we have a lot of analog material mix and match in there. So this would basically bring out the cameras would be changed out, everything would be integrated, and then there'll be actually sound zones, so you'll have better audio and visual quality. And our hope is that this will last us and top notch for at least another 10 years. So pretty straightforward. But if you have any questions, please let me know.
Council, any question for Seb before I open it to the council? Or Vanessa, do you want to add anything else?
Well, I'm here at the meeting and in our council chambers, and today, like, our projector is not working. So some of the items that we will be updating, it's all the infrastructure and the technology inside of it. So that way we can become be accessible to the public. And that is one of the items in which the CARES funding is it's letting us use this fund for this project.
Excellent. Thank you so much. Council, any questions before opening up to the public? I hear none. So any comment from the public? Okay, how about public on the line? Any questions? I hear none. Okay, we'll bring it back for discussion for council. Any questions or anything further, council? In regards for me, I think it's great that we have this opportunity to use this grant money to update our system here in the chambers. I think, like you mentioned, Vanessa, it's important that we be accessible and have good communication for our public, especially during this very important meeting. So I think it's great and looking forward to the upgrades. Do we have a motion for this item, council?
I'll make the motion.
Oh, go ahead, Garcia.
We have a motion by Mayor Pro Tem Garcia. You have a second?
Yes, I'll second that one.
Okay, we have a second by Councilmember Kang. Could you get a roll call, please?
Roll call. Councilmember Baptista?
Yes.
Councilmember Aguilar?
Yes.
Councilmember Kane?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Garcia?
Yes.
Motion approved by a vote of 4-0.
Thank you, guys. Let's move on to item number 11. This discussion regarding conducting council meetings physically closed to the public due to COVID-19, pursuant to Governor's Execution Order N2920. And just as a FYI, the county has gone now to purple restrictions. Who has this item, or is it just an open discussion?
It's an open discussion. I know that Mayor Pro Tem wanted to chat a little bit about this, but if you want me to touch on it, given that we went to the purple stage, and trying to follow kind of some of the same protocols that other municipalities are doing or staying as related specifically to council meetings. Of course, I'm sure you guys have some opinions, and so this is just an open discussion.
If you want just to open it up real quick, Jose, like in regards to like what other jurisdictions are doing, or what, we want to be uniform in regards to county restrictions.
Yeah, definitely. Well, basically, the great majority of the cities are basically, limiting access into the council chambers because of the purple stage. And the purple stage basically is, for not finding a better word, is basically meaning that, the spread is out of control, where the purple or the red is basically widespread. And so, we're trying to educate the public, as I mentioned earlier in my statements, and so providing we just passed an item that's going to give us an opportunity, like Vanessa said, to allow the public to continue to participate and be transparent and open. So limiting, if council so chooses, we can limit it like we did in the past, where we said 12 people. We continue to check the temperature and then space everything out to the 6 feet, or if council wishes, just basically have everybody call in.
Thank you. Mayor Pro Tem Garcia, you want to go ahead?
Yes, I know I brought this item forward here in the past. However, I still feel that it should be closed to the public. We all have families to go home to, and God forbid anything like one of us or something happens and we take it back, and I don't want to feel responsible if something ever happens just because we let 6 people in or 12 people in. I hope we could work with our new system, but it's compatible with like Zoom and Blue Jean or whatnot, so people could actually call in on that way also. So for me, I know the county, or 2 county, our neighboring county also went into the purple tier. So I would like to just, I guess, continue it to be closed until further notice to the general public.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem Garcia. Anybody, council members, any other further discussion? What do you guys think about this?
This is Councilmember Baptista. For me, I'd like to provide our citizens with an option. Again, I know that we're going to practice our protocols. We're going to try to mitigate whatever the state, our county has placed us in. Again, I'd really appreciate some more data that's being pushed on us, because I haven't seen anything as it relates to any kinds of solid numbers. Again, I don't know if I'm not looking at the right resources, but again, I would truly appreciate if we can get those numbers Sister Ramirez, that actually show us, what got us into the purple. Providing our residents with an option of coming in. Again, we're all adults here. We understand the risks. We've been hearing it since March, and we're going to use our own personal and best judgment to come into a chamber where we've been asked to protect our citizens. So if our public would like to attend our meetings, then we should allow that opportunity for them. Again, they're going to practice in their own best judgments for their own families of what they're willing to risk. And basically that's what I have to say about that. I just want to be able to allow the opportunity for our citizens to make their own choices in regards to where we are. And, I'm hearing we're at the purple, but keeping our chambers open so that our public can come in. And I don't know when our audio-visual systems are going to be we just passed that tonight, so expediting all those services to our public, that's all great. But again, it's much, for some people, it's more powerful for them to have a voice inside our chambers. So I am wanting to allow that option for our public. Thank you.
Councilmember Bautista
Thank you.
will certainly provide you with information. It's kind of it starts at the state level and then it funnels down to the different counties and they meet certain thresholds. But we'll be more than happy to provide you with that info.
Thank you.
Just Mayor Process.
Maris?
Go ahead.
Yeah, I think yesterday, just on data that I've seen, I guess there's 3 more deaths in Merced County due to, they say related to COVID. So, and there's other numbers, but I don't recall those offhand. So.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem Garcia. Councilmember King, anything to add?
Yes, I got a quick question. Purple means that all the restaurants in the city will be closed to all residents, right?
Yes, Councilmember King. Yeah, so no indoor dining.
And yeah, effective immediately, right?
Yeah.
Yes, I think we should follow the county's rule. It's not fair for the restaurant to close their business, but we have the city hall open. So whatever the county does, I can't agree with them. So if they're close to all the restaurants, I think we should have everything by telephone or by Zoom. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember King. And in regards to me, obviously, I believe that the public should have access and participate in our meetings. However, at the same time, obviously, we're in a pandemic. And in regards to the question with the numbers, the county releases statements. It was doing it on a daily basis, but I think it is doing it on a daily basis again. But the numbers have obviously shown that there's an increase. I've personally seen that there is an increase, and obviously a lot of risk factors, the winter, the flu season, everything else. And there's a reason why we are in a more restricted phase. And you're right about everybody choosing and where they want to risk and where they want to go. But at the same time, we also have a responsibility to not only protect our public but protect our staff and ourselves. And so, there's a balance act there. However, I would like to be uniform, and I would suggest that we follow also that guideline from the county, coming from the state and the county, to close it for now, and then as soon as we're less restrictive, then open it back up and follow that. Be safe and follow as an example too to our community that we're also following the regulations. At this moment, I'm going to open it up to the public. First to the members or the public that are presently here. Jose and Diego, any comments?
Yeah, this is Diego Castillo. Can you hear me?
Yeah, go ahead.
I just had a couple questions. How soon would the new system kick in? My feedback or opinion would be just I've tried to not come in here and make some comments or call, and I find that our current system it's pretty difficult to hear or understand what's going on. And I agree that we do have to take some precautions. But even pre-COVID, I think in this room we've had maybe whenever there's not special events going on, we usually have 5 or 10 people. So it's usually a small crowd. We don't have a really big crowd that comes in here.
Diego, I agree. This unfortunately it is poorly attended, which we're hoping to change that here in the near future, or once COVID gets better situation. But it's also not only the public, like I mentioned, but looking out for our staff members here. But in regards to the system, do we have an estimated time of implementation?
Yeah, we anticipate that it's probably going to take us about 4 weeks because some of the items that need to be ordered, so there's a little bit of a lead time. But we're going to talk to the vendor and see if we can, get this expedited so that, the sooner the better. Because, yeah, you're right. We welcome this the new equipment, Mr. Castillo.
Thank you, Jose. Absolutely. Let's rush this, get it implemented as soon as possible. Mr. Jose, any comment on the public? Okay. How about anybody on the line? Public comment for this discussion? Anybody? Okay, I hear none. So in regards to any direction or here, what I'm hearing is I think most of us want to be cautious and follow the current status of being more restrictive. I think at least 3 of us are stating that, correct, Council?
Yeah, so I'd like to make the motion of continue or to have our councils closed until further notice and follow the county rules and regs on it. So I'll make the motion on it.
It's just a discussion, right?
Yeah, at the moment it was agendized as just a discussion, but definitely if staff provides direction, I know that the agendas do come out, and the city manager and the mayor would be listening to this discussion as well as to when the next agenda comes out. But it was just agendized for discussion, but it's very valuable to hear what the council members individually and the consensus of the council members.
Thank you.
I mean, I believe that we're all exercising our best judgment in regards to risk factors, and we're educating our public enough that they understand what it means if they were to approach and come into our chambers. Again, we are following the protocols as we have been instructed, so I'm not really seeing where closing our chambers is going to. I think it sends the wrong message when we're trying to keep some of our businesses open. I get the restaurants and everything because they are ran differently, but we've got our businesses, closed down our parks, but I still see that we still have soccer programs running out on some of the fields. Again, there's mixed messages here, and it's confusing to many of us. Again, allowing that option so that our public can make those choices for themselves is what I'm after. That's part of my discussion, and I'm going to stick with that because I hear what Mr. Castillo has said. If people want to come out to our chambers, they would understand what it is. If not, they're going to call. If they want to see what's going on, they'll find it on YouTube. And again, us as council members, I know that some of us choose to come in, some of us choose to be online, and that's fine. Let our public make that same choice. let them choose to come in, following the protocols that we've been mandated to follow.
Thank you,
Mayor
Councilmember
Pro Tem.
Batista. Go ahead, Mr. Mayor. Pro Tem.
I'm not sure this question for you, for the attorney or city manager. Due to it being in effect today by the governor, and for each for the counties that he mentioned, is there something in place where, since like an emergency, in regards to this, like that we could, vote on it tonight potentially?
And I think that the question is whether we could add the discussion portion on the agenda as matters too late for the agenda. In order to add a matter too late for the agenda, or to have, let's say, direction on this, if the council, given that there's less than it would end up being unanimous to add an item on the agenda. I think, Mayor Pro Tem, the fact that the majority of the council has brought up this issue, and we hear 3 council members providing their decision or their guidance that they would like the meetings closed. I think that the city manager would be working with the mayor in order to have that take place. If we want a formal direction, if, for example, if the meetings aren't closed, we could definitely put it on the next agenda for a formal vote. I know that when this item was placed, it was placed as a discussion, but as you've seen in the past, the meetings were closed and they were opened, and I think that this is a good conversation, a good discussion by the council, providing at least what every council member thinks to the mayor and the city manager for the next agenda.
I appreciate that, sir. Thank you for clarifying that.
Thank you, guys. Great discussion. Obviously, there's a lot of factors to consider, risk and no risk, and the COVID itself, of people being asymptomatic and all that good stuff. So, great discussion. I think as I mentioned, there's enough for staff direction. So let's move on to item number 12, which is discussion and potential direction regarding towing service regulation ordinance. And who has this item?
This is Jose, the city manager. This item was at the request of our Mayor Pro Tem. I don't know if what specific direction you want to provide or information we'd like to share on this item. That we work on this item, so there is an updated towing ordinance, and for council, and it's pretty much council pleasure. So I don't know if you wanted to add anything else. That's just.
No, that's right, and I know the Mayor Pro Tem. I think that Mayor Pro Tem just wanted to kind of also find out what the status of this was. I know this item came before the council before. There was some directions to staff to work on this item. Staff had started working on it. I know some other issues have come up, other priorities, and this item hasn't come to the council. I think this is a good time to get kind of additional feedback from the city council, whether this is still a priority to keep moving forward.
All right, council, questions and discussion before opening it up to the public?
So this is just a discussion item, Mike. Correct?
Yeah, it's just a discussion.
Okay. I would like to move this item forward or continue it forward since, it's been put off for a little while now. And we were supposed to get back to it, and obviously other priorities came up, but I think we just need to revisit this again.
Sounds good. I'm going to go ahead and open it up to the public. Any questions here? Okay, how about anybody up on the line? Any questions from the public? I hear none, so I'll bring it back to council. Any further discussion or questions from any of the other council members?
For the one service to for the city just to utilize just the one service here in Livingston and not allow others to come in? Was this the item? Because I don't have the paperwork on it, but this is what I recall.
And I believe it was, and council member, I believe it was the two that are local, or two local towing companies, to be able to use them in order to be able to make sure that when tow companies are called by the police department, for example, that there are folks available. So having kind of priority with them, if I remember correctly, what the direction was.
And who are those towing companies?
That I'm not sure.
Okay.
Mr. City Manager, do you recall?
So it would be both tow companies are owned by the Espinosas. One is owned by the husband, and one is owned by the wife. And one is called Always Towing, and the other one right now escapes my mind. But they're all my family.
Thank you, Jose. Any other questions or direction?
So what is the direction that I don't know whomever brought this forward? What is the direction? What are we supposed to be looking at?
Well, this is the Mayor Pro Tem. Well, we were supposed to be looking at, there's some issues in the original, and I think the mayor, Samara, was here at the time, where he was one that stated we needed more information, and we would come back and revisit this item. However, we've never got to it, or we never got back to it until I brought it up. So it's just a discussion item, and I say myself is to move forward with it and continue it, put it back on the agenda just like it was originally, so we can give an answer of yes or no.
And if I may, just adding extra details regarding the direction. I think that it was just, the direction was simply to create or to draft an ordinance similar to surrounding jurisdictions like Turlock, that has, instead of just having agreements with tow companies, to have an ordinance that limits the amount of tow companies to be used depending on the population of the city. I think that the population that was discussed, at least two, kind of like what we have with the food vendors, with like the taco trucks, where there's a cap on depending on population. I think it was going to be opened up, but it was determining who we already use, and I think that that's how those two tow companies came up. But it was creating a whole new ordinance, creating a kind of a permit structure that was limiting the amount of tow companies that could operate in Livingston depending on the population, if I remember correctly, going off memory here.
Thank you, Attorney. I think you're correct. I think that was the discussion we had, or original item that was brought to us. In regards to myself, I understand the need to, resolve the items that have come up to the council for discussion, and, given that it was the mayor that brought it up and wanted a further staff work on this item, and so I'm okay with bringing it back up for discussion and seeing what options we have, and if we really need to have such an ordinance, if there's a need for it or no need for it. So I think it's beneficial for discussion and for potential action, and for our public to be informed of what happened to that item that was brought to the council. It was never resolved, so I think it's a good thing. Like I said, it'll be a good discussion, and but at the same time, I know we have other priorities, and I know that there's other urgent matters. I'll leave it up to staff to prioritize and determine when it's appropriate and what needs to be addressed first before anything else. So I think we have a good consensus and a good, staff could gather and go forward. Anything else, guys?
So are we going to be moving forward with this, or what's the the outcome as of tonight.
It sounds like Councilmember Kang. Anything to add? What your say on this?
Yeah, can we, if we decide to move this item forward, can we find out how Turlock has their ordinance? Is it by the population, or how does that work? Can we get staff to do some extra homework on that?
Yeah, definitely. I think I'm hearing from the attorney that I think they're researching. The resolution will be based on research conducted on surrounding communities.
Yeah, just a little bit more information, Councilmember King. Actually, the current ordinance that you have before you was actually modeled after Turlock, and Chief Soria worked on it along with our attorney and myself. So that's kind of what we use. But if there's any specific information more that you need, please let us know, and we can curtail that information for you.
And just there's no ordinance on the agenda packet right now. I know the direction was given to work on it. There's nothing in the agenda packet. It was just more of, we started working on it. We do have a draft, and it was based on Turlock, pursuant to the direction from last time. But nothing's on the agenda packet. It was more a discussion and potential direction. It sounds like and again, Councilmember Kang, interested in hearing your thoughts as well, but it seems like at least two members have asked to just go ahead and bring it forward for at least to discussion. And like you said, discuss what Turlock has, what other jurisdictions have, and what the ordinance would look like. We do have a draft of it. It just got, unfortunately, it got kind of put on the back burner for now.
Thank you, Jose. Yeah, definitely. I mean, for discussion purposes and to determine if it's a need in our city and how would it look like, and since it was brought in the past forward and we had given that direction, I appreciate that. But like I mentioned, prioritize what's more urgent and all of that. Anything else, Council? Hear nothing else, so we are adjourning the meeting at 8:31 p.m. Thank you.
Thank you.